Good evening. Good evening, you guys. Good evening. Welcome in to Tea with Lady DJ. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. Come and join me. Welcome in. Welcome in. Yes, welcome in for Tea with Lady DJ. Welcome in, welcome in. You guys, my laptop decided not to work anymore. I've got to order a new Addie. How are you? Welcome in. And so now I'm having to do something different tonight to bring this to you all. But as you're coming in, please be sure to get your daily heart maze right above, right in my hair. Get your daily heart maze. And for those of you that have been with me for a while, hey Tony, welcome in. Welcome in. And those of you that have been with me for a while, I like to get to 20,000 likes. So if you could, as you're coming in, tap the screen, please. I don't solicit gifts, but if you gift me in advance, I am saying thank you. Thank you, Tony. Thank you so much. Tonight is going to be an interesting night. And I'm not going to try to keep you long because I've got a lot of information for you. And I want you to listen, take notes, and as usual, tomorrow morning, I will put this live up on my YouTube channel, which is You, Me, and Tea with Lady DJ. I said that totally wrong. It is You, Me, and Tea with Lady D on my YouTube channel. There's no DJ, just Lady D. But I have not seen you all since before Thanksgiving. So I took some time off, but I've been studying, preparing for tonight, preparing to be in front of you. Yeah. And it's something that Leroy and I talked about, and you all that know me know that I reference God as Leroy. That's my pet name for him. He normally sits behind me on the daybed that's here in my office. But we have been talking about some things. Self-esteem, and low self-esteem. And how does it affect relationships? How does it affect relationships? And so if you don't take notes and you just want to sit and listen and then go to the YouTube channel and replay it and see how is it, do you recognize you? Do you recognize you? Because he and I have been talking about, Leroy and I have been talking about it, and relationships, not just dating relationships, but relationships are hard because there are some contributing factors that we never address. And self-esteem, he and I decided, let's go there. Will be a series, a 3-night series on how does low self-esteem, how does that affect relationships? And it does. And I've got some really good information for you. You see, I am just laid back. I don't know. I didn't even feel like a scarf. I don't even have a scarf on, you all. You know that's most unusual for me. But let's get started. Let's start to tap our screen so we can get me to 20,000. Tony, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. I appreciate all of you. I do. And all of you that decide to join me tonight. But I'm not going to just, as Jeanette would say, bumping my gums. Let's get into it, okay? Self-esteem, low self-esteem. How does that affect your your uh, your relationships? I was looking for these glasses. I had on those glasses, but now I'm ready. Now I am ready. So let's get started. Let's get started. How does low self-esteem affect relationships? And it does. So, yeah, I've got my little Kindle because my laptop went out and I will not have the part for it until the 15th. So I'm having to improvise, yes, and make it happen. Make it do what it do. But when you have a healthy self-esteem, you are more likely to set appropriate boundaries. When you have a healthy self-esteem, you are more likely to set appropriate boundaries, communicate clearly your needs, engage authentically. You don't feel compelled to hide parts of you or parts of yourself or pretend to be someone that you're not. Low self-esteem often leads to either being overly accommodating, a people pleaser, losing yourself in the relationship, or being defensive and pushing others away preemptively. And when I say preemptively, it is acting ahead of time to prevent something from happening. A conscious and self-aware choice that is driven by self-respect and clear boundaries. Unlike self-sabotage, and you've heard that so often, self-sabotage, which is an unconscious pattern, often rooted in fear and past pain. Rooted in fear and past pain. How does low self-esteem affect your partner selection? Your partner selection. How does it affect that? And if you notice, please, if you notice the advertisement that I posted today, it had a man's face and it had a lady on each side of them, because this is not gender specific. It's for everyone. Because I had sat through 3 classes where the men spoke, only the men, and I was amazed. And that's the reason why I say we're always learning. I was totally amazed how and what men had gone through and were unable to talk about it, which affected their self-esteem. And to this day, some of them are still walking around with things that they can't talk about because they are being labeled. Yeah, if he tells about it and he gets emotional, then he's either zesty or he is a simp. But he hurts. He hurts just like us, ladies. He hurts just like us. And so we have to work through that self-esteem issue, low self-esteem issue. So selecting a partner, Your self-esteem influences who you are attracted to. Your self-esteem influences who you are attracted to and who you believe you deserve. And I'm just going to stop right there. And who you believe you deserve. And you all know me all too well. I never, ever, I just talk about me. And maybe you can see and relate. As you can see, I am very melanated. And my gray hair I've had ever since birth. But because I am very melanated, over the years, and I hope you all can hear me. Can you hear me clearly? I hope so. Over the years, I was always told, and I'm a baby boomer, so it's back before you all's time, that being as melanated, you don't want to date someone, marry someone as melanated as you are, because the children would be a blue-black. That's what was said. That's what was said. And I held on to that. And when my ex is quite fair, and I felt so privileged that he was interested in me. Because what? I didn't feel like I deserved, and he was attractive and he was fair skinned and he looked at me, this melanated woman. It affects you. There's something that has been said to you that you remember and has changed your course, how you navigated through. But people with lower self-esteem may unconsciously choose partners who reinforce the negative self-view. And that's what I did. That's exactly what I did. Or they might tolerate treatment they shouldn't because they don't believe they can do better. They don't believe that they can do better. Then, relationship dynamics. Low self-esteem can fuel jealousy, possessiveness, a constant need for reassurance, which can strain even the strongest relationship. You might interpret neutral situations as rejection or constantly worry that your partner will leave you because there is something in your past that you have not dealt with. You have not dealt with. On the flip side, a solid self-esteem helps you trust more easily and weather normal relationship challenges without spiraling out of control. Without just spiraling out of control. This right here fuels jealousy, possessiveness, constant need for reassurance. Haven't you all heard, is it just me? But haven't you all heard people say, I need to see his phone. I need to look in his phone. And why is he hiding his password? Why do I not have access to it? Why? Why do you feel that in a relationship, in a beginning relationship, that you are entitled to be in his or her phone because of jealousy, possessiveness, constant need for reassurance? It's because there are some issues that have never been addressed and you're still holding on to them, and you bring it into a new relationship. Therefore, you are doing what? You're bleeding on someone that never did you any harm. Yeah. And this is for men and for women. And the new word, the new label, conflict resolution. Conflict resolution. How are you going to resolve anything when you haven't resolved the issues in you? You haven't resolved those issues. So how are you going to be in a relationship and be able to communicate your likes, dislikes, whatever it is that bothers you? When you value yourself appropriately, when you value yourself appropriately, you are better equipped to handle disagreements. And here's the operative word: constructively. You are able to handle disagreements constructively. You can advocate your needs without aggression, and accept feedback without feeling completely devastated, because you've learned how, you know what it is, and you've learned how to communicate. There's lots of us that don't know how to communicate. We don't know how to say, I'm feeling a little down. The other day, I think I understood you to say, using I statements instead of you statements, which are accusatory. That's what we don't want to do, but we have not learned how. So that affects. And so if we haven't learned how to talk to each other, then what we say, and we don't know our value, then we take it and it becomes a mental abuse, or it becomes a physical abuse. But nevertheless, it affects the relationship. No, I'm not. I'm not a voice artist. No, I'm not. Okay, so let's look at some of the contributing factors to low self-esteem. And this one is the foundation. This one is the foundation, and this one is the one that we just choose not to even talk about. This one is ones that we shove under the rug. And it is childhood experiences. Childhood experiences. This is often where the foundation is laid. This is often where the foundation is laid. Overly critical parents, neglect, abuse, or even well-meaning parents who are inconsistent with affection can all impact how you learn to view yourself. Let me read that again. Overly critical parents, neglect, abuse, or even well-meaning parents who were inconsistent with affection can all impact how you learn to view yourself. If your emotional needs were not met, am I frozen? Am I still frozen? Okay. Okay, hold on. So if your emotional needs were not met, or you were made to feel that love was conditional on performance, that often is carried forward. It is often, Marvin, it is often carried forward. Another one is trauma and adverse experiences. Like, were you ever bullied in school? Discrimination, emotional or physical abuse, or other traumatic events can deeply wound self-esteem. I am a baby boomer, but there are some baby boomers that lived through discrimination. I was bullied because I was about that big, very melanated, and gray hair. Do you know how cruel children can be? Children can be so very cruel. And that's that deeply wounded self-esteem, especially if they happen during formative years. Yeah, elementary, middle school, high school, when you think you're ready to date, where some of you, were you a part of a clique because you made them look good because you didn't they just took you around to make. Did you ever notice that they just took you around, had you to hang out with them? Marvin, thank you. Had you to hang out with them, but they made fun of you because you weren't as voluptuous as they were, or you were not, as a man, you weren't as tall as the jocks on the football team. Yeah, that hurts. It hurts. These experiences can create lasting beliefs like I'm not saved or something is wrong with me. Affects your self-esteem, in turn affects relationships. It does. Social comparison and rejection. Social comparison and rejection. Repeated social rejection, not fitting in peer groups, or constantly comparing yourself unfavorably to others can erode your self-worth. 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 Low self-esteem because you were never affirmed. And I want to say that what helped me over that, was getting back to the Word of God. And for me, He said in the beginning, right? And after He created everything, when He finished creating whatever it was, He looked at it and He said, it's good. And that, just that right there, I didn't need to go any further. God said, I'm good. He created me. And He looked at me and He smiled and He said, it's good. And then from that point, when I was able to process that, I didn't need that person that wasn't as melanated as me to validate me or affirm me. I was able to affirm myself because God said. And that just felt good all under. It's kind of like when my great-grandfather, he would not allow the kids to use they would say, you old black thing. And I would cry. But my great-granddaddy always, he said, come. And I would sit in his lap. And he'd love me. And he would say, you are my chocolate thing. And I'm telling you, there was a feeling down so deep. I didn't care what went. My great-granddaddy said I was his chocolate thing. And he made me feel loved. And then I learned to love me because God said. And I don't care what you say. God said. And he's bigger than your mom and dad. God said. So, academic or professional struggles, repeated failures, harsh criticism from teachers or bosses, or being in environments where you feel incompetent can chip away at confidence. My fifth grade teacher was my mother's fifth grade teacher, which was my brother's fifth grade teacher. And she lived right next door to us, right? And I am right handed, but my brother and my sister, baby sister, they're left handed. And they're hooked left hand. And my brother never told my mother that Miss Page would spank his hands with the ruler because he hooked his hand like this to write, and he turned his paper a different way. And he came home and his knuckles were red. Oh, thank you, Paula. His knuckles were red, and Mama said, "What have you been doing?" And he started to cry because he was afraid to tell her that this had happened to him. When I tell you my mother laid her to rest, my mother laid her to rest because she spanked his hand every day because he wrote with his left hand and he hooked his hand to write. Beautiful penmanship. All of us have beautiful penmanship, but it wasn't to her liking, and she was going to break him from doing it. So when Darlene came along, she was Darlene's fifth. But Darlene taught herself, because of what happened to Junior, she taught herself to write up and down so that she wouldn't get her hand spanked. Can you imagine how hard that was? Yeah. It chips away at your confidence. Yeah. So mental health conditions, depression, anxiety, and other conditions often go hand in hand with low self-esteem in a reinforcing cycle. It can be hard to separate cause from effect. It can be. Low self-esteem, physical health or appearance concerns, chronic illness, disabilities, or feeling like you don't meet conventional beauty standards can impact how you value yourself, especially in image-focused cultures. Pastor Barner, who was on here just a few minutes ago, he spoke on something the other day. It's how we use these filters. How we use these filters here on TikTok and some others. And I never even thought of it, but people take compliments. Oh, you were so pretty. You look like you've lost weight. Thank you. And they take compliments. And that's the beginning of catfishing. Self-hate. Self-hate. You don't like the way your hair is. You don't like the way your skin is. So you put these filters on. And I have noticed that there are men also who put filters on. Why? Why? Hey, Walter, how are you? I'm sorry. Smile more while I'm reading. I'll take that under advisement. Anyway, but have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought we're using filters because we want to fit in, and we don't even We're not being authentic. We're not being honest with ourselves or with the people that give us compliments. They say, what makeup do you use? And said the other day, I don't use makeup because I put my hands all over my face. Hey, Daddy Ford, how are you? I put my hands all over my face. But let me tell you something, sidebar. They have on TikTok, can you see it? It's the tear. I'm not selling anything, but because I stay up late and I'm always reading, I get dark right under my eyes. This is the only thing that I use. Can you see? I think it did really good. And I don't have to put it all over my face. But sometimes we go too far and we don't even know who we're looking at. When that person comes to meet us, they've looked at the profile picture, and the profile picture is glamorous. And then when they get there, they want the person that they saw in the picture. Where is that person? Yeah, yes, Joseph. I will put my lipstick on before I go to bed. I will take this lipstick off, and I have a night lipstick that I sleep in, and I'll change my earrings. But that's the extent of it. I just have my hands all over my face, laughing until I'm tears are running everywhere. But physical health, appearance concerns. Appearance concern. I'm a 10-year breast cancer survivor. And it wasn't until this year that I put on a sundress, because the radiation that I took, 30 treatments of radiation, I didn't have to have, I refused rather, a mastectomy, bilateral mastectomies, but because radiation decreases the size of you. So one side of me is larger than the other. And anxiety, you all have no idea. But this year, this summer, I put on a sundress. Can you believe that? Yeah, I did. And I was okay with it. I was okay with it. I had to get there. It was not easy to get there, but I got there. It's those types of disabilities. Perfectionism. Perfectionism. Ironically, setting impossible high standards for yourself guarantees you feel like you're constantly falling short. You all remember there's only one perfect person. He is the Most High. And so why do we do this? It's because we are trying to get the bag. We're on our grind. We want to climb the ladder. And then what? And then what? And if you don't make it and someone goes past you, then what? How do you feel? The hopeful aspect is that self-esteem isn't fixed. With self-awareness, sometimes therapy, supportive relationships, and intentional work, people can build healthier and self-regard even after difficult beginnings. Even after difficult beginnings, you can. I'm not just saying because I did, but I did. And I came through a lot more than I shared with you tonight. But I came through on the other side because I worked. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the 10K. Thank you so much. But I worked, and you work. You can work. I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel. I really wish that you would go back and listen to each one of these. And when listening to these, and you go back and you start with your childhood experiences, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself, because the more you put off, the harder it is for you to be in a healthy relationship. A healthy relationship. Not to acknowledge that this is. And when you get in that relationship, you want. Paula, can you type it for me? For Irene, and you, me, and T with Lady D. You, me, and T with Lady D. And when you go over, please subscribe, because that's free. And just, you can replay it as often as you like. I try to upload them all. Tomorrow we are going to continue. This is a series. But tomorrow we're going to talk about self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-compassion. On Tuesday, we're going to talk about the difference between low self-esteem and selfishness, because there is a correlation. And the only way that we can go forth healthy is to look at us and stop expecting unrealistic expectations of getting in a relationship, and this person should be able to fix you and get you to this place that you're happy. That's a whole lot to put off on anyone. It's unfair. So what I see us doing is that we're so desperate to be in a relationship. Are we so anxious to be in a relationship that we don't have time to put our best forward? Our best forward. So you're angry because of things that have gone before you, and it is beyond the last relationship that you were in. It goes beyond the last relationship that you were in. Thank you all for continuing to tap the screen. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But it goes beyond that. So don't you want to be the best that you can be? Yeah. And don't you want to, it disturbs me. I date at 71. Yeah, I date. And I am enjoying it. You guys, I am so enjoying it. I was married for 23 years. I was married for 23 years. But I had to get to know me. I had to get an understanding of what it was like out here in these dating streets. And there are some woolly bullies and some woolly bullyettes. Woolly bullies and woolly bullyettes. Ladies, and if we're not prepared before we decide, okay, I'm ready to go out here, we will be chewed up and spit out. But if we take time with us, if we sit for just some time and be poured into, You don't have to take it all, but I promise you that if you sit still long enough and get to know you, and get to know you, oh, what a difference it makes. It makes, as I said earlier, a healthy self-esteem allows you to be able to set good boundaries. There are those that are out here in the dating streets. They don't have boundaries. They don't know their worth. They don't know their value. They don't know any of that. They just out here wrecking lives. That's what they're doing. And I hear them, because late at night, my prayer time is at 2:00 in the morning. And that's when it's so very quiet. And I don't always talk, but Leroy talks to me and I can hear. And before I go to sleep, I stroll these streets of TikTok, and the things that I hear that are said, and to think that there are men that will encounter these ladies, and that there are ladies that will encounter these men. And because you don't know your worth, you don't know what your standards are, you don't know what your boundaries are, you have not found your no. And no is a complete sentence. You haven't found your footing, yet you are ready to be in a full relationship that may last a month, maybe. Okay, it may last 3 months. And that's everybody that's that 90-day thing, right? 90-day rule. But the whole thing is, no one waits 90 days before they're intimate with each other. And what do you know about this person? You got your itch scratched. And he or she didn't even say deuces. And they have a term. He ghosted me. She ghosted me. And that's another chip out of your self-esteem. And then we want to cry victim because we didn't sit still long enough to get an understanding of who we are. Because we were not taught. We were not taught and affirmed that we are so worthy. You're worthy. And we weren't taught that. And so because we were not taught that, they'd smell it in the water like a piranha smells blood in the water. And men and women. And because you don't know, and your self-esteem is down so far that the gophers have to bring your mail, then they say all of the things that you needed to hear to feel loved and needed, and all of these things. This is what you needed. And then when they're gone, we go back to the series that I did, walls versus fences. Then you put up walls. And there's some bad in you that needs to get out. But you've walled up your heart because you didn't take time with you. And your self-esteem is in the pits. And that's the reason why tomorrow we're going to talk about self-esteem. Not low self-esteem, just self-esteem, self-confidence, because you can have self-confidence and yet have very low self-esteem. And I want to share that with you tomorrow. And self-compassion. All of those things, we need to know what they are. We need to know how to recognize them within us. Within us. And if you can't, you have enough. I want to be able to give you enough to say, when you go to your therapist, if you decide to go to a therapist, this is what I see. Can we talk about it? Because see, I am not a therapist. I am certified. But I'm not trying to tell you how. And I'm not trying to stop you or condemn anything that you do. But I want you to be the best you can be. Because it is pleasurable. And we don't want to hurt others because we are hurting. I just believe, and on this panel, I can do this because it's my panel. I just believe that there's a better way and that we can do better. So that's the reason why I studied, to bring you all something that you can look back and make it applicable to you. And that when you go out there where the woolly bullies are, or the bullets, I like that, bullets, are, you can recognize them, you can discern them. And I'm going to go back over that term tomorrow again, discernment, because you don't have any discernment. And so therefore, you keep running into, you keep entertaining the same old, because you are not prepared. Miles Monroe said that you are ready to date when you don't need to date. Now, allow that to process. You are ready to date when you don't need to date. How many of you are saying, I'm tired of being single? And because you sick and tired of being single, you make bad choices. But when you don't need to date, you're ready to date. I'm ready. I put in the time. I've invested in me. I hope you all will invest in you. If you have any questions and would like to come up and ask your question, please just send your request in and I'll bring you up. If you have any questions, I thank you all for being here with me tonight. I really do. Hey, Proof, how are you? But if you missed any of this in the morning, this will be uploaded again to my YouTube channel. Hey, Nafi, how are you? Will be uploaded to my YouTube channel. And it's okay. It'll be uploaded in its entirety, and you can sit and listen to it over and over again, because I feel like that there's some good things that you need to muse over before you decide. But don't forget, tomorrow is self-esteem, self-confidence, self-compassion. And they're all different. And we need these, and we need to incorporate them. We need. This is not a want. This is a need that we need to take on before we decide that we're ready for a relationship of any kind. For a relationship of any kind. Paula, did you... Now, if there's no questions, Paula, can you see how it did? It did so good. This is that tier. This is that tier. I love it. And this is 45W chestnut. I got mine from the Zon. You know what I'm talking about? But you can order it off of TikTok. But I love it. I mean, and that's the only place that I put it. I just put it right here under my eyes, and it did it. Yes, it did. I was so isn't this a neat case? Can you see it? So it has the little that you put on, and then can you see it? That is, I was like, oh, money well spent, because this will last me for a year, because I don't do makeup, but I love this. Anyway, you all, I thank you. If there are no questions, I hope that I will see you all tomorrow at the same time, 6:30 Pacific, 8:30 Central, and 9:30 Eastern, as we continue on with the subject, how does low self-esteem affect relationships? How does it do it? Yeah. You know what? And I've still got 30 some people here. I looked this time. This time I never look at numbers, ever. But I got nervous because I looked up there at the numbers and it said 100. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to have a panic attack. But there's still 30 of you that's still here. Thank you all. I can't say thank you enough. I so appreciate you all. I really do. So tomorrow, and this will be up in the morning. So if at your lunchtime you want to take Ali. Oh my goodness. If you want to take your lunch break or take a break, share it with a friend. There are several videos of tea time that are there, and just go through them. Sit with them. There's really 3 books that I am doing. 3 books. And hopefully by the end of this month, you all have hiccups. I'm sorry. Hopefully by the end of this month, all 3 of them will be out. One is called Before the Play, which is it's a play on words for foreplay. It's romance. It's soft erotic. It's terribly steamy. Miss Donna likes to write steamy. And the other one it's another one that's my story. It's my story, like the struggle is real. Did I share that with you all? Look, I don't even promote myself. Now, that's horrible. Trilogy. Trilogy is I'm a new author. I am a new author. And these are my first two. Trilogy is romance, like I said, soft erotic, and terribly steamy. Steamy. There are no ethnicities. There's no Bunquisha. There's no Rodriguez. So that you can be that person if you want. And then the struggle is real. It's a 31-day devotional for broken relationships. Hey, come, welcome in. Thank you for stopping in. And it has a journal in it so that you can journal. There are scriptures. This one right here is dealing with pride. Pride. You know what comes before the fall, right? Pride. And so over here you can journal. There is a prayer. There's a scripture. It's how I felt at this time. Now you may not on day 7 felt like I did, but I felt away. The 3 that are coming out at the end of this month, prayerfully, is before the play. And I like to think, even though you all look at me and say, she's got gray hair, what's she talking about? God doesn't put an expiration date on us. He does not. And with that being said, I think that sometimes we're missing out on true passion. Passion. Because we're wanting to smash it, break it down, and put it back together in your guts and all of that other stuff that doesn't sound appealing whatsoever. But we never stop to make love to the mind. So before the play, which is a play on words, is foreplay. Everything begins way before the bedroom. If you get that person's mind, even for a man, make love to his mind before he gets your body. Make love to her mind before you take her body. It does wonders. And no, I'm abstinent, but I know what I want. And I know that that's how they don't depict us. They pick us as dogmatic. We just, put our Timberlands on and stand up in it. Well, I like to think not. So, that there is another way. Thank you, Ali. Thank you. That there is another way. The other one is wanna, W-A-N-N-A, reminisce. Generational curses stop with you. And it is, again, it's my story. And for me, this is closure. It's a story from my great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, and then me. And all of them have transitioned. But the generational curse stopped with me. And I want to tell you our story. And they say that I am a creative nonfiction writer. And with that being said, excuse me for just a second and do the puzzle. And with that being said, is that I take bits and pieces and make a story around them. The facts are true, but I build a story around them. And that's what want to reminisce is it's our story and it's closure for me. And then the last one is mastering you. Mastering you. Are you really ready to date? All of these things that I share with you was me mastering me. And so I'm putting all of the things that I learned over these 28 years, how it got me to where I am now. And it's called Mastering You. Are you really ready to date? So, be looking forward to them. They're coming soon. These two, you can, on my page, on my profile here on TikTok, pinned at the top is how you can get these two. So, I think I've taken up all of your time. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And until tomorrow, okay? See you then. Mr. Radio, welcome in. Until tomorrow. Good night, you all.